Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you guys are having a great Tuesday today. And we had actually really good news today. So we had the SEC lose against Grayscale. We got the verdict finally. We said it was going to come possibly by the end of the month. It did. We finally got it. Bitcoin went, well, it did really great today, along with the miners. So we have to talk about that. We also have to talk about Argo Argo blockchain. They provided their financial results for H2, so second half of the 2023. We'll break it down to the quarterly results also, and then we also have Iris Energy providing information on buying some GPUs, specific ones for AI. We'll talk about that as well, and then I think that is about it. Oh, Twitter also buys, or not buys. Twitter also has gotten a license for transactions of cryptocurrencies and things like that. We'll take a look at that as well. Okay. But as always, you guys know the drill here, not financial advice for entertainment only. Please do your own research and invest in finding coins and companies for full disclosure. And if you enjoy this type of content, hit the like button, subscribe, helps me out tremendously. Let's get into our big story here today, which is obviously going to be on BTC jumping up to a 2-week high on Grayscale versus SEC Bitcoin ETF win. So here's what we have. We knew this was going to be coming in this month sometime. We didn't know exactly when. We were thinking it might come in last week. It didn't. It finally came in today. So Bitcoin obviously reacted quite positively to it, which is fantastic. So, I mean, miners were up huge today as well, which is great to see. But here's the details. A ruling by the United States Court of Appeals for the District Court of Columbia Circuit Court stated that the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission was wrong to reject an application by Grayscale to launch an exchange-traded fund ETF using the Bitcoin spot price as its basis. So this opens up the doors for everybody else, BlackRock, what else is there? ARK Invest, others as well are in there. We'll take a look at the list that we do have and when those rulings could possibly come from the SEC. Unless they actually kick it down the road a little bit longer, we'll have to see, obviously, right? So the denial of the Grayscale's proposal law arbitrary and capricious because the SEC failed to explain its different treatment of similar products as, and unverified copies circulating online states. So we therefore grant Grayscale petition and vacate the order. So this was a big win for, obviously, the Bitcoin spot ETF in general and for Grayscale as well. So thank you to Grayscale for doing this lawsuit against the SEC because we finally have some clarification in it, and SEC was wrong, obviously. Grayscale thus joins the waiting list of firms seeking to launch what would become the first U.S. spot Bitcoin ETF, with the SEC yet to approve any application. But this might send a message for the SEC to say, you know, get your stuff together and get this going. Down here also, analysts heralds BTC price bull cycle catalyst. This would be interesting, and it would be actually really great news for the miners, and not only for them, but also for Bitcoin. Continuing the reaction, Michael Van D. Pope, founder and CEO of trading firm 8, suggested that the court's decision could have a positive impact on the existing ETF applications, which I agree. Notably that the world's largest asset manager, BlackRock, right? They filed theirs application as well. This might sound weird, but we could be on the verge of the start of the bull cycle with this news. He summarized to X followers in part of commentary on the back of a dedicated video update. So this is definitely interesting here. As far as where things are going to go forward from this, it's going to shake itself out a little bit. I think there's going to be some possibly profit taken in the miners and Bitcoin in general. I think we're seeing that already in Bitcoin a little bit here today. We'll take a look at the chart here in a little bit. But we'll have to take a look, see what happens going forward. There might be a little profit taken, like I said, but I think eventually we might start going back up. Let's see here. If there's anything else. I think that was it that I want to talk about here. So this is obviously great news here. This is something that we've been waiting on, and this could set the precedence for the Bitcoin spot ETF to be finally approved. It's now a matter of when, not a matter of if. Okay, so this is great news. Now, as far as which ETFs are still on the docket here for the SEC to go over, we obviously had ARK 21 shares Bitcoin ETF. They're refiling it. Let's see, it was first deadline for the SEC was on 6/29. That obviously passed. 8/13 passed. Now it's possibly going to be 11/11 for them. iShares Bitcoin Trust, which is company BlackRock, theirs is not due until 9/2, which is only about a week away. Not even that. It's like on Saturday possibly. Well, obviously we won't get the news on Saturday. I think it's Friday is the 1st of September, so we won't get that until maybe Monday, possibly the news on that one. And then if that doesn't hold off, we got obviously these dates here for everybody else, but we got also Bitwise Bitcoin ETP Trust, VanEck, Wisdom Tree, Invesco, Wise Origin Bitcoin, Valkyrie, Global X. ARK is in there as well. Oh, ARK is right there. But you obviously have quite a bit of companies looking to get into the ETF spot Bitcoin action here. And then here are the dates that we do have it. At the latest we might get it would be possibly in, what is that going to be, January, February, March or April at the latest, looks like. So that would be right around the time of the halving event for Bitcoin, which would be great if we get it before then. That was also going to be a catalyst for Bitcoin to possibly go up much, much higher, as you have a lot more money flowing into Bitcoin, buying up the spot Bitcoin ETF. This is going to be great news for us. And it's obviously going to be great for the miners. It's going to be huge for the miners because, as we've seen before, the miners act like a leverage play on Bitcoin. We've seen Bitcoin go up today quite a bit. Miners did even better than that. We'll take a look at that later on here in the video as well. But just wanted to point this out to you guys here. Okay, next. Twitter obviously obtains license to store, transfer, and trade Bitcoin and crypto. This was obviously all good news here. We've known that Elon Musk has wanted to turn Twitter into now possibly going into X.com, which is going to be the everything app, which would include possibly this. We don't know this for sure, but trading of cryptocurrencies, transferring cryptocurrencies, also payments on whatever you can think of. He wants to create this kind of application here. And that's obviously good news as well for Bitcoin and Bitcoin adoption and for crypto in general. So this is great news here. I'm not going to dive too deep into it, but just want to talk about it here really quick. Okay, and let's get into Argo here really quick. Or actually, let's take a look at Iris Energy here first, because this one's going to be relatively short here. That we'll go over this, and then we'll get into Argo. Argo's going to be a little bit longer one here, as we have to go through a lot of data for them. So Iris Energy purchases NVIDIA H100 GPUs to target generative AI. So obviously AI is pretty in fashion right now. You've got ChatGPT, you got Google doing, I think it's Bard. So there is obviously a lot of interest in AI, whether it's speech recognition, other things, natural communication, things like that. Tesla's doing it, AI with their self-driving vehicles. They're part of it as well. So there's a lot of interest in this, and we've seen other companies get into it as well. We've seen Hut 8, Hive also do this, and now we also have Iris Energy getting into it as well. There is a big question for me, though, however, is what is going to be the ROI time frame on this going forward? And we'll take a look at the numbers here, and I'll point some of this stuff out to you guys. Okay, so Iris Energy today announced the purchase of NVIDIA's latest generation artificial intelligence AI H100 GPUs. These suckers are freaking expensive. They're more expensive than the miners. I looked on NVIDIA's website. They're going from like 30, 25 some thousand up to like almost 40,000 and change, depending which ones you get. So they're definitely expensive here. Key highlights: company's next generation data centers to now target generative AI market. Initial purchase of 248 NVIDIA H100 GPUs for $10 million. That comes out to be about 40,000 and change per H100 GPU. That's a lot. That doesn't include, I think they stated in here that it doesn't include the storage, so SSDs, whatever they're going to be using on that, along with like the server cases, power supply units, all that stuff that has to be added on into it as well. So you might take on another $1 million to $2 million for that. Not sure how much that's going to cost for them to get that. Maybe less. But right around, we're looking at about 10 million, so right around 40,000 or so. Now, also, if you include in the server rack, or the server, whether it's going to be a 4U, I'm guessing it's going to be probably like a 4U rack server, include possibly 8 of these GPUs in there. You're looking at about 31 servers that could possibly handle all of this business. Okay, core business remains Bitcoin mining, so that's good news there. Generative AI represents additional opportunity, and we've seen that obviously with Hut 8 Hive as well. My question on this one is, we've seen at least the numbers from Hive. Now they're using GPUs that are more purpose-built for graphics and things like that. Their run rate right now on an annual basis is about 1 million. Hut 8 is a little bit harder to figure out because they don't what's what I'm looking for here. They don't categorize the different revenues they have from their high performance computing, which includes AI part of it as well. But their run rate is a little bit higher than that. So if it's 1 million a month or 1 million a year, we're looking at an ROI of 10 years potentially, depending what the costs are to run it. You're obviously taking stuff out of some costs out of that as well. So I'm hoping it's not going to be 10 years to get an ROI on it. I'm hoping it's going to be more like 2 to 3 years potentially. It'd be great if they could get it in a year, or with some of the AC miners, they can possibly do that within a year to 2 years at max, at most. Okay. So that's my only concern there. And let's see here. The initial purchase of the 248 H100 GPUs for 10 million is expected to be delivered in the coming months and will allow the company to further assess the appropriateness of its next generation data centers for servicing adjacent computing markets such as generative AI, and then demonstrate capability to prospective customers. So this is kind of like a trial run, it almost seems like, for them, to see what can they actually generate revenue from this and everything else. They're going to evaluate it going forward. Now, I've said this before. I've said this for Hut 8, and I've said this for Hive as well. If I'm a developer, I'm looking to go with somebody like Amazon AWS, which has database, files, a web server, application development, this whole stack that's going to be built on top of this. For companies like Iris Energy, Hut 8, Hive, it could be used by developers as just a proof of concept, possibly. Meaning that you're going to only use it for a little bit to see if you can get the data that you want out of it. But if you're going to be doing an application that's going to be on mobile phones, anything like that, you're going to go with the big boys like Amazon, Google, Microsoft, that have that whole stack that you need to interact with those customers and the application that you're doing it yourself. Okay, so that's kind of my thinking on that. I'm on the fence on this stuff right now as it is. I don't know how well it's going to work out for them. I wish them all the best on it, but I'm just not 100% convinced. Okay. Let's see here. Daniel Roberts commented here, leveraging our next generation data centers into generative AI is an exciting opportunity, particularly given current industry shortages in rack space and compute. We believe demand for sustainable computing is unlikely to go away, and we feel we are uniquely positioned to capture ongoing growth in a broader industry, whether that be ASIC for Bitcoin mining or GPUs for generative AI and beyond. So, like I said, this is going to be interesting to find out how this works out for them going forward, once they do get this stuff installed. And like I said, if they had a whole stack to offer to customers, I think it would be a much more substantive impact than what we're seeing right now. I just don't know enough about this, how much it's going to actually generate for them, things like that. All right, let me know if you guys have any information on this down in the comments below. I'd love to hear it, but this is kind of my take on it. So we'll leave it at that. Okay. Next is going to be here Argo blockchain really quick. So Argo blockchain provides their interim half-year results for 2023. They did report their Q1 results, so their half-year results. I'm taking that, and I'm also getting the data for the Q2 results based on that from what we have in Q1. Okay. Highlights: reduced non-mining operation costs and expenses by 21% in Q2 2023 compared to the prior quarter, so that's good. Resulting in a positive adjusted EBITDA of 1 million for the quarter, adjusted EBITDA of 2.3 million for first half of the year. Reduced debt by 4 million during the quarter to 75 million as of June 30th, a 68 million reduction from 143 million at June 30th of last year. So that is definitely a great reduction that they've had here, but it's been at the cost, obviously, of their growth. They've been stuck at 2.5 exahash for a long time, and we're seeing less and less Bitcoin being mined each month because of it. Okay, revenue of 24 million for the half. So this is for the first 6 months, a decrease of 31% from the first half of last year, driven primarily by a decrease in Bitcoin price and the increase in the global hash rate and associated network difficulty, which is true. And that's why we need to see the miners growing, especially, unfortunately, it's a tough business to be in. And you really need to have good capital structure, good balance sheet, and be able to grow in the bear market to reap the rewards actually in the bull run that's going to be coming up here next year, possibly in the following year. The company ended June 30th or June 2023 with 9.1 million of cash and 46 Bitcoin or Bitcoin equivalent. On its balance sheet post the period end, the company raised 7.5 million in gross proceeds via a share placement in July 2023. So they diluted some shares there to get some cash. Unfortunately, they still have a lot of debt outstanding. They did a great job paying a lot in the past year, but still 75 million is a lot for them. And I think that's it. So let's take a look at the numbers that I do have for them, and we'll get into Bitcoin, how that performed today, along with the miners as well. So the numbers here that I have for Argo are old price. This is an old price, a couple of days old. I have not updated the stock price yet, so this is just numbers that we have right now that are a couple of days old because they have gone up quite a bit here. If we look at Argo here, Argo was up 24%, so they're $1.23 right now. So they're probably closer to, what is it, 70 million market cap right now. 53.5 million shares outstanding, and that's based on the reported number that they provided for the end of the first half, plus what they diluted in the after that. So this is the total amount that's being basically reported here. Current hash rate is at 2.6. They're supposed to get to about 2.8 in all. They still have some miners that they need to install here. If we look at their last 4 quarters revenue, some of this stuff is combined Q1 and Q2 of 2022, Q3 and Q4. Then we got Q1 and Q2 of this year. The revenue has gone up a little bit here in Q2, not much, but it has gone up about $1 million, which is good. The current quarter estimate is about 11.5 million, so that's actually going to be down from there. Their last 4 quarters operating costs minus depreciation has increased to 13.1 million from 9.85 here in Q1, and this is for the halves. So this would be the second half of 2022, first half of 2022. You can possibly divide that by 2 to get a number of what it was for each quarter there, roughly. We just don't have the data on them. Cost to mine 1 BTC minus depreciation has increased for them to 28,000 here, so that's definitely quite high. Bitcoin mine quarterly as well, that has been coming down, and like I said, because they are not increasing their hash rate, they've been stuck at like the 2.5. They installed 2.6 here in July. But you can see here they were pretty much stuck for a full year. And if we look at their Bitcoin production here, you can see that their Bitcoin production has been coming way, that's HODL, where's Bitcoin production? BTC. You can see that their Bitcoin production has been coming steadily down ever since then. So that's obviously not good. Without Bitcoin price going up much higher from where it was last year, that has a negative impact, unfortunately. Debt to equity ratio, I got a negative 41 for them. Equity was down to a negative mark this time around. Current ratio, 0.4 right now. We would like to see that higher. Debt to equity ratio, I believe we want to see that always lower. If I'm not mistaken here, if I look at, let me see if it got it over here. Nope. Was it Bitfarms that had it? Somebody has it where they, maybe it was Hive. I'm trying to think here where I wrote down my little notes here. Let's go back to Argo. Okay, Argo, if I look down here, current ratio, higher is better. Okay, I always forget which one is better. Higher is better on that one. Debt to equity ratio is lower, is better. But obviously with them being negative on the debt to equity ratio, that's not good. Total current assets, million, is down to 13.5 million here from 21.92. They are coming down here on that. And then if we look at total current liabilities, that has increased to 27 million. That doesn't include all of their liabilities. Their current liabilities was over, what was it, 675 million roughly. So big difference between those two numbers, so that's not good. Okay, looking at the data here. So I have the first half of the year data here. Then I did some calculations to figure out what the Q2 data was based on what they reported for Q1 on it. And if we look at it here, this, let's see here. Current assets. So current assets is at 13.5 million. That is down from the 21.9 million that we had, so that's not good there. Total assets also decreased to 88 million from 99 million. Total current liabilities was actually up 27 million from the 22 million, so that's not good there as well. Total liabilities is actually down a little bit here to 91 from 93, so that's a little bit better there. Let's see, total stockholder equity was negative 2 million here based on what they provided here, whereas we had a positive 5,400,000 in Q1. Revenues have also come down here, or actually went up in Q2 from Q1 to 12.5 million from 11.4 million. Self-mining costs were a little bit better here, well, up a little bit here, 12.5 million from 11.4, and direct cost was a negative 0.9 million from negative 5 million. That's calculated based on that. Yeah, power credits, they actually got power credits this time around 1.2 million. Depreciation was negative 5.9 compared to negative 6. And then gross profit was negative 815,000 compared to negative 556. So they actually lost more here in Q2 than they did in Q1. Let's see, what else do we have here? As far as operating profit and loss, general administrative, so that actually went down to 3.8 from 4 million, so that's good there. Restructuring also went down to 593,000 from 806,000, so that's good. Share-based is about even there. A little bit of a decrease, but not much. And then foreign exchange was way down. Operating gross profit was negative 6.3 million from 5.3 million here. Operating expenses also was up here to 9.8 from 8.7, so that's not good. Net income before taxes was actually a better number, negative 7.5 from 8.7, so that's looking a little better. Total comprehensive income, of tax, negative 9.0 million compared to 8.7, so that's not good then. And then as far as basic and diluted net loss per share, they reported 477 million shares, but that's for ABRKF, I believe, stock symbol. ABRK symbol is 1/10 of that, so we have 47 million shares. And like I said, they added another 50 some million shares added that were sold to get some profit, 7.59 million, and that was based on taking that and dividing it by 10 to get the additional 5.some million shares that were added to it. So that's why we are at 52 million or 53 million right now for ABRK stock symbol. Okay. So based on all of this, they're definitely not in a good position. They also stated here, I think they stated someplace where I read it. I don't know if it was here. Let's see, increase company. Okay, here we go. The company is involved in advanced discussions to sell certain non-core assets, and it continues to evaluate options to further reducing debt. Right? Obviously, debt here for them is a big hurdle for them to overcome. Not sure how well they're going to be able to execute on that. And the concern is obviously with the halving event coming up, they're going to be in a world of hurt unless Bitcoin goes up in value 2x or 3x from where it is right now. Then that might actually save them. But currently, they're on a downward spiral, unfortunately. Not something that I would want to be invested in currently because of that, the debt that they have, and just their lack of growth here in the last year, unfortunately. Okay, but let me know if you guys are interested in them, if you guys are investing in them. Do you guys see something different that I don't see? But this is kind of what I'm seeing right now with them. Okay, so that's it for Argo. Oh, let's go back to the numbers that I do have for them. I do think that they're still undervalued based on where they should be. I am between $2.14 to $3.21 with a very low PE here of 5 because of their lack of growth. If we look at their future estimates based on the July numbers, I have them at $1.81 to $2.72, and that's possibly going to come down even more depending on what numbers we get for August right now. Right, so if they generate less revenue in August, that could obviously have an impact on it as well, bringing their stock price even lower. Let's see here. Analysts also have them at about $3.75 to $1, so that's kind of right in range where I have them roughly. Okay, so that's it for that one. Let's take a look at what happened with Bitcoin here today. Bitcoin obviously was up huge today. It was up 6.19% at the close. It was up much higher, closer to almost 7.5%, 8% on the day before it actually started to come down a little bit here. And the interesting part is that we actually closed about above the 200 weekly moving average, which is the red line here, which is nice to see, but we are below it right now in the new day. We're down approximately 0.6% on Bitcoin right now, and it's trading at around 27,553. We closed at 27,717, so we'll have to see how things progress. Also, I didn't really like the huge spike that we saw in the RSI here. If we look at the RSI peaks here, right around 52. Last time we were around 52. Price of Bitcoin was much higher, so we'll have to see if we can get a little bit of a falling on the RSI while the price actually starts to go up, where we get a reversal on that. That's kind of what I'm looking for. That would be a good sign. If we look at the 4-hour chart as well, we saw overbought on the 4 hours as well. And last time we were overbought on that one at the same level, we were much higher. So we need to see a reversal on that. And on the 1-hour chart, we were way overbought here. And the news, we're actually at, let's see, on the 1-hour chart at 65. Last time we were at 65, we were back here. We're actually lower in price. So it's starting to look a lot better on the 1-hour chart. Okay. Now, as far as the miners are concerned, miners had a fantastic day today. We've talked about this before, where Bitcoin is, well, the miners are basically a leverage play on Bitcoin. Bitcoin goes up 2x, miners go up 3x, 4x, whatever it might be. But they act that way in against Bitcoin. So Annie was up 16% today. Argo was up 24%, up huge today. BitDigital was up 13%. BitDeer, for some reason, was actually down today, surprisingly. With everything else going up, I would have expected BitDeer to go up just as nice as some of the other ones here have. Bitfarms has gone up 15.87%, Cypher up 16%, CleanSpark up 16%, Core is up 18%. DigiHost was actually another one that was, why is that skipping on me? DigiHost was also up today or basically flat on the day. Also surprising there. DMG was up 17.49%. Greenedge was up 16.25%. Hive up 15.41%. Hut 8 up 16.67%. Iris Energy up 21.58%. So the combination of the GPUs being bought, getting into that sector as well, along with Bitcoin price going up in value, they definitely had a nice day today. Marathon was up huge today, 28.81% on the day. They're at 1368 right now. Market cap is at 2.4 billion. I'd have to calculate that based on mine, but this is what's being reported here on TradingView. Mawson was up 23.54% also. Riot was up 17.25%. Solana was up 7.78%, and Stronghold was up 15.3%. Wolf was up 20.42%. So we obviously had a lot of miners being up really good here, and then the WGMI ETF for the miners was up 15.92% as well today. So fantastic day in the miners for today, which is nice to see because we've seen this kind of pattern where we've been coming down here on a lot of these miners here for a while here. Look at the daily chart, we've been, trading lower for the past 4 or 5 weeks or so. And it's nice to get a nice little bounce here on everything that's been happening. So great day. We'll have to see how things go forward. This is still a long game, as you guys know. The halving event is next year, possibly around April. If that happens, then we have another 3 to 6 months where Bitcoin price could be slowly going up. But then after that, I think we might be catapulting back up higher to the all-time highs. Like I said, I still think Bitcoin could get around 150 to 200,000. My goal is around 180 some thousand. We'll see if we get there, or we might get there even faster. We might even go up higher because of the Bitcoin ETFs. So there's a lot of good news happening for us, but it's going to take time. So strategy has always been for me, and it's always been dollar cost averaging in. I bought some shares last week. I was thinking about buying some more this week. We'll have to see where Bitcoin goes, where the miners go as well. I may pick up some more because I'm still very, very bullish on the future of the miners here, especially going into next year and the following year as well, before we get into possibly another bear market. Okay, so that is it. Let me know what you guys thought of all this. As always, the spreadsheet is going to be available to my Patreon members. And thank you, everyone, for watching. If you guys enjoyed it, hit the like button, subscribe as well. And I'll try to provide some of this stuff as well to the YouTube members, some screenshots for you guys as well. Okay, so that's it. Hope you guys have a wonderful evening. I'll see you guys in the next one.